Hello everyone, good morning. Here, I'm Farinda Henrianti, which my study number is 62. Today, I'm going to present about journal presentation. The title is Blended Learning, Computer-Based and Conventional Reading Instruction Affecting EFL Learners' Self-Regulation and Critical Thinking. Written by Abbas Alizare and Prince Abdi at 20 and 16. Okay, for the first, I'm going to talk about the introduction. Here, there are three parts. The first is the important. As we know that we live in a modern era, and one of the most important skills that we should have is critical thinking. And it is considered to be a high priority for education. And the problem of this research, the weakness of student critical thinking and inappropriate learning techniques in improving critical thinking and self-regulation. So, to solve this problem, the researcher gives the solution that is apply different instructional techniques in computer-based and conventional contexts to improve self-regulation and critical thinking. And the next slide is the research question. Here there are four research questions. The first is, are there any significant differences among the effect of jigsaw and scaffolding in a conventional context and blended learning on EFL learner self-regulation? The second is, are there any significant differences among the effects of jigsaw and scaffolding in a computer-based context and blended learning on EFL learner self-regulation? And the third is, are there any significant differences among the effect of jigsaw and scaffolding in a conventional context and blended learning on EFL learners' critical thinking? And the last question, are there any significant differences among the effect of jigsaw and scaffolding in a computer-based context and blended learning on EFL learners' critical thinking? And now there are some literature review. The first is about collaborative learning. Karini and Jalufan at 20 and 14 maintain that peer teaching scaffolding has significantly more positive effect on EFL learners' reading comprehension ability with the compared to just peer scaffolding alone. And the second is the self-regulation. Fisher and Baird at 2005 state that incorporating web-based collaborative learning assignments in the course design can foster community and exert a positive effect on students' independence and self-regulation. And the last literature review is about the critical thinking. Lombard and Cursor at 2004 stated that learners need to think critically, which requires the cultivation of critical thinking skills with the help of educators who have a pivotal role in this regard and are able to think critically by themselves. And now, I'm going to talk about the research methodology. The first is participants. The participants involve 171 intermediate level Iranian EFL learners. It consists of 68 male and 103 female students. And the instruments that it used in this research, the Michigan Test of English Language Proficiency, a self-regulation questionnaire, and critical thinking questionnaire. And last is about the data analysis. The data analysis that it's used is a one-way analysis of covariance or ANOVA. Okay, for the next slide, it is about the procedures. The first step is the participants selected based on the cluster sample. The second is the MTLP was administered to make sure that there were no significant differences among the participants in terms of their language proficiency level. The third is the researcher divided the participant into 5 experimental groups, with each group being randomly assigned to one of the treatment conditions. The scaffolding groups in conventional and computer contexts, two jigsaw groups, again in conventional and computer-based settings, and the last group is one blended learning group. The first step is before the research began, all participants were given a questionnaire as pre-test. It is about self-regulation and critical thinking. And the last step, at the last meeting, the participants were administered a post-test with the same subject, that is self-regulation and critical thinking. So the result of this research, the first is there was no significant difference among the groups in the conventional context terms of learners' self-regulation. And the second, the data showed that there was no significant difference among groups in the computer-based context in terms of learner self-regulation. And the third, the data showed that the conventional scaffolding technique is significantly more effective on critical thinking than the conventional TESOL and the blended learning groups. And the last is the data showed that there were differences that are statistically significant and suggesting that blended learning is more effective on critical thinking than a computer-based TESOL and scaffolding. And now I'm going to talk about the discussion. The first is, for the first and the second question, the finding is contradict with the C and B Gennaro at 20 and 10, who saw that moderate positive correlation between self-efficacy and collaborative contracts in blended learning and completely online context. And the next is for the third and the fourth question, the finding is in agreement with Yang and Wu at 20 and 12, who said that the effect of teaching strategies and instructional designs can promote critical thinking. Okay, now we come to the end of this presentation, that is conclusion and recommendation. We can conclude that blended learning can improve students' critical thinking. However, this study was found to be less effective on the self-regulation of students. And the recommendation from this research, that is the education systems should adopt a flexible and eclectic stance in designing instructional course and make it use of diverse technique if an ideal instruction is expected. Okay, that's all about my presentation. Thank you for your nice attention and thank you for watching. Telah selesai, see you.